is U.S. Senator John McCain talking about what's happening in Libya, saying Friday that Libyan rebels fighting Muammar Gaddafi's troops are his heroes.
It's consistent with McCain's general view that he never met a war he didn't like, it's in keeping with his physical bravery and his general outlook on things. I'd like to know a little bit more about who we're jumping to bed with in Libya before I were to. It's one thing to say we hate Gaddafi. It's another thing to say you guys are my heroes.
When you heard McCain make these comments, what did you think?
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, he is, as you say, been a big booster of this war. To Senator McCain's credit, he's not one of those folks, and there were quite a few in the Senate, who were rah-rah before we got involved, and then the minute we got involved and it got a little difficult, started wanting to criticize the engagement and to put the brakes on it. To me, the rebels there are heroic. I mean, they're doing something that is very brave. They're completely outgunned. It's a regime that has tremendous grip on power over the past couple of decades. Whether they're likely to be effective is a much tougher question. It seems as if, in the absence of genuine American and NATO support, they keep getting their butts kicked. And then we finally say, well, okay, we got to go in and help them, and we can kind of push the government troops back a little bit. But to me, the issue is at the heart of the rebels, it's the effectiveness of the rebels.
Jim?
Well, again, if I keep reading these stories that Al-Qaeda's people are coming there, that people have left Guantanamo to go fight in Afghanistan and then gone to Libya, I think that it's easy to see a stalemate emerge. I'll say it again, I'm just a little nervous about who we're supporting and who we're giving aid to, and the potential here for another quagmire.
President Barack Obama has authorized armed Predator drones against forces loyal to Gaddafi. It's the first time that drones will be used in the airstrike since the U.S. turned over control of this operation to NATO, and that was on April 4th. A lot of people having a raised eyebrow about these Predator drones.
Well, listen, nobody wants to go to war there in a big way in the United States, and we've got a couple of them going, and they're pretty much weighing us down, and I don't think there's any appetite anywhere in the American political spectrum, even on behalf of Senator McCain, for a deep and long American involvement in a third war. And then there are all the other issues. If you start using drones and those kinds of weapons, and you inevitably have large numbers of civilian casualties, you tend to turn the population against us, who blame us for the firing that's coming out of the sky. And the goal here has got to be prop up these rebels, who may not be perfect. And Jim's right, we don't know everything about them, but they got to be better than Gaddafi, right? I mean, this may be a time where we think we know pretty much about them. The signs are basically pretty good about who they are, and we know the guy who's been there has been a terrible devil to us. And so, you hope you can get in, you can get out without getting dragged into a more serious way, and let NATO do as much of the work as possible.
Right. What do you think about the drones being used?
Killing Gaddafi is fine with me.
The world is changing in the Middle East very, very quickly, and we essentially have two choices. We can say, well, we throw up our hands and say we just don't understand it, so we don't want to be involved, or we want to, as best as we can, and as good intelligence, imperfect though it is, that we can muster, try to figure out what's in the interest of the United States, what's in the interest of human rights and democracy and the other values that we hold dear in this country. It's certainly true that people in that part of the world have some different worldviews than we do. If it's 80% or 85% of Egyptians who hate Israel in the United States, well, you know what? It's too bad. Maybe we should try to convince them that we're right. But in the end, that's who Egypt is. And we ought to find some kind of way going forward that we end up either on the side of the winners, which would be nice once in a while, since we keep seeming to pick losers in these struggles, or at least some forces that would advance the things that we care about. And I don't think we can afford not to be engaged in that battle.